posted. And if you are interested in joining, just click on the link in the Facebook group to join and ask questions, interact, and it is going to be uploaded in our academy because this is a key pillar to perfect as the time goes, as you perfect your brand. And Tristan, go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so today's topic is going to be mastering branding. And I put this because this is ultimately what it's going to really be about. So when you guys are posting on social media and stuff, you really want to start becoming that online authority. The reason why you want to be strategic about it too is because a lot of people are posting the same exact stuff. You see a lot of repetition when it comes to posting, and you really need to stand out as an agent, especially as more and more people get on social media, more people are posting, you have more competition. You really want to be strategic about it, and you really want to make sure that you get your brand out there. Quick introduction too. So for anyone who's going to be watching the replay recording, my name's Tristan. I'm the digital marketing specialist at Best Homes Real Estate. I help the agents with lead gen, with branding, and all of that stuff. So I'm really excited to be covering this topic. So the reason why I have this here is when it comes to branding, you really need to think about what your foundations are. So you need to start thinking about your pillars. Who do you want to put yourself in front of? And you have to start thinking of that when it comes to your target audience. Without your foundations, you really don't have a brand. And it's just like when you're building a house, you have to make sure you have these foundations in place because as you know, if you don't have these things in place, you might start asking yourself questions like, what should I post today? Or, I need to niche down, and, you keep running in these circles and you never actually get back to it. So for this workshop, what you can expect is really figuring out what is your brand and why you need to actually leverage it. Another thing is why social media content is important and how you can actually use this. The next thing is understanding content and its components. So there's a few components in posting, when it comes to emotion, when it comes to strategy, we talk about it all the time, figuring out the problem and having the solution for them. You guys are the people who are going to be bringing these solutions to these buyers, to these sellers, in whatever niche you're in. The next thing is the key principles for posting. So if anyone has any questions, as I go through this, feel free. I'm watching the comments right here on the Facebook group. So you guys can, either ask in the Zoom or you guys can ask down below as well. So the personal branding breakdown. So branding is very, very important. And you guys may know this because you hear it all the time. But the biggest thing is like everyone's talking about branding, but no one really actually tells you guys the basics of it and really how to implement it. We always hear, oh, you need to brand yourself. You need to brand yourself. But there's a lot that goes behind it. But once you have a full understanding of what this really is, it can really jumpstart your online social media presence. Branding is really just one of the most powerful and influential ways to attract people to your business. It allows people to enter into your world and create a business relationship with you before you actually needing your service. And I want you guys to really pay attention to that because this is something that isn't happening tomorrow. It's not going to happen tonight. This is something that's ongoing. You're putting yourself in front of people and you're sharing your message. You're having them see you in a certain way. So that way, when they're ready to take action, they actually will with you. It's not something where you're going to be, you're not going to be able to post a just sold or a success story. And then boom, you have someone just calling you right after that. This is them seeing it time after time after time, after posting consistently. And then finally, when they have that trust with you and they're ready to take that action, they're going to be working with you. So what is your personal brand? Everyone has a personal brand, but it needs to resonate with your audience. When it comes to resonating with your audience, you guys really have to start putting yourself in the buyer's or seller's shoes or whoever your target market is. One of the biggest things is that I see is, some people will post more for the eyes of the real estate agents, putting just sold, or, look at me, I just did this accomplishment. you really need to start shifting your mind and start really thinking of putting yourself in that buyer's situation. So let's say you just helped a first-time home buyer. Your posting should be about the story about the first-time home buyer and how you helped them get into their home. It shouldn't be about how you just closed on a deal. So that's something that you need to start thinking about when you're posting, and that's what your brand really is about. Your brand's going to be about how you are helping other people, how you're helping your specific niche get exactly what they want, and how you've helped them do it stress-free. Another thing about branding that you need to pay attention to is that it's your reputation. So the long-term thought people will have of you is going to be your brand. When your name is brought up, this is one of the best questions I like to ask. If you were to be, if your friends or, coworkers, colleagues were to see, or your name was brought up at a coffee shop, what would they say about you? And you really need to start asking yourself these questions, because what they would say about you is your current brand. And if you're not happy with what you're perceived as right now or what your brand is, you need to start getting a little more strategic with what you're posting and what kind of content you're putting out there. So that way you can have that, when you are brought up, it is, oh, that person's the local realtor, she's great. I see her posting all of these, she's really well-versed around the valley when it comes to the restaurants, or she, something where it's positive and it's about the community. So when it comes to personal branding, you really need to differentiate yourself. And like I said before, every realtor buys and sells homes. So ask yourself, what makes you different? How are you different as a realtor? Do you have specific hobbies that you can connect with other people with? Are you a family person? Or do you enjoy watching basketball? Are you a sports fan? What can you relate with people other than real estate? And that's kind of the stuff that you want to start pushing out onto your social media platforms, because when you guys start narrowing that down, you guys will attract people faster, and you're going to attract the right people. And that speeds up the process for them to know you, like you, and trust you. The next thing is relevancy. You need to make sure that you're connecting with people on a level that is relevant to them. So when you're talking about, anything, when it comes to, you can take this even outside of real estate. If you're, if you're a family person and you want to talk about families or stories about your families, do that. If you're into sports, talk about sports, post about them, talk about it in detail, show that you're really interested in those topics. It's really going to start connecting you with people who are like-minded, who have the same interest as you, and they're going to like you a lot more when they see these contents. The next thing is lead with value. Just don't be a salesy real estate agent when you're posting online. If anything, don't even ask for anything. If you want people to follow you, you can let them know if you're doing like reels and stuff, but never ask for anything. Like, don't ask people, hey, if you're looking to buy or sell, contact me. Those posts are never going to work. What's going to work is you bringing value to them. Maybe you guys offer them, market updates on a monthly basis. Maybe you guys are giving them events that they're doing that are going on in the community during the month. Those kind of value posts are going to be what actually brings you to that person and make them want to work with you. The next thing is being very personal. People need to feel like they know you from your content. They should feel like they already know you before actually meeting you. And that's something that I think is one of the most important things when it comes to content. I don't know if any of you guys have ever posted. Let's say you go on vacation, or let's say, you go to an event. When you guys post these things, if you guys notice, if you run into people, they'll feel like they already knew that you went, or like, oh, I saw that you were on vacation, and it feels like they know you on a more personal level. Or they'll be like, oh, I saw you went to a restaurant last night. How was that? It gives you that intro already. So that way you have that personal level and they feel like they have that with you. The next thing is being remembered. You want to have a brand so strong that you're always at the top of the mind. And the only way that you can do this is by posting every single day, consistently. You have to be at the top of the mind, because it is not your audience's job to remember that you're a real estate agent and that you're a valuable real estate agent and you have a strong brand. It is your job to remind them. So when it comes to personal branding and you want to start asking yourself, like, what should I start posting about? Start with your core values. What do you believe in? What don't you believe in? And I'm not talking about, like religion or politics or anything like that. This is more of something with your personal interests. What do you enjoy doing? What do you not, make that clear with yourself. Start figuring out the things that you really enjoy in life and the things that you like to do, the hobbies, all of that stuff. The next thing is to be true to yourself. Make sure you're being authentic online. One thing is I really can tell, you can notice when people don't feel like themselves online or when they're like making a video and it's not authentic. Just you relax, be yourself. And I promise you, people are going to want to watch your content more. They're going to feel the authenticity when they see it, which will ultimately build that trust with them even more. So another thing when it comes to be true to yourself, this does not mean you have to be fully transparent and share everything about yourself, but you still need to have the goal in mind with your brand. So be as transparent as you want to be, but make sure that, if there's something that you don't want in your personal brand when you are posting, if there's something about your life you want to just kind of keep out of the branding, make sure that you're very clear with that and, keep that stuff out of your social media. The next thing is persuasiveness. Your brand should make it aware that you are the agent to help them, that they need an agent to buy and sell, and that you are the best agent for that. So for this stuff, this is going to be the content where it's the story branding. You need to start telling more stories about what your clients are experiencing. What are you experiencing in the market that's helping your buyers get into their homes? What are you doing to help your sellers sell for top dollar in this current market? Or how are you helping them, when it comes to closing costs? Like, you just start telling these stories in the buyer seller's shoes about them and how you help them get there. And your content's going to get more likes. It's going to have a higher reach, and you're going to build trust a lot faster than any of the other posts. The last thing is target audience. So select your target in your market and speak to them. I think this is one of the biggest things too that you need to really consider when it comes to posting. You can't just shoot out to the Phoenix market and say, you know what, I'm just going to help all of Phoenix. And that's how my content's going to go, because the truth is when you do that, it's going to be going out to everyone, and your competition's very high with that. When you have these people that have sub niches, like they specialize in specific hobbies, they're going to grab those people that are in that Phoenix market. And that's where you're going to be losing out on a lot of business. So, figure out your target audience. Maybe it's first-time home buyers. Maybe it's people who want to relocate. Maybe it's families who are looking to upsize. Maybe it's families who are looking to downsize. Figure out what that target audience is and start speaking their language. Because once you start speaking to a specific audience, you will start attracting the right people. And you're not going to be just kind of like shooting out content, just hoping that it catches with anyone. So that's a very important part when it comes to posting on social media. The next thing is your service. So this is not really social media heavy, but as you guys know, your service is everything. So showcase that to every single person. Every single client of yours, you should be servicing at the highest level. And you can even showcase this on social media. Not only will this show people that you are a great agent to work with, it's also going to enhance, them actually reaching out and telling everyone else about your services as well. Also, if you celebrate their success and maybe you tag them in it, this is a way that you can get yourself into their world. Let's say that they repost it, or let's say that you tag them in it and it goes on their feed. You're putting yourself into their world. You're showing other friends and families of theirs that you're actually helping them, and you help them get exactly what they wanted in real estate. So does anyone have any questions as of right now? Awesome. Okay. All right. So the next thing is, what is content creation and how do we actually leverage it? So content creation is a way to get in front of multiple people at once, nurture those who follow you, and stay at the top of the mind as a real estate agent. So whenever you're posting, you need to keep this in mind every single time, every single day that you don't post. You're not getting in front of multiple people at once. You're not nurturing those who are following you, and you're not staying at the top of the mind. So that's ultimately what this content creation is all about. Your brand is going to be, posting every single day. And what I like to tell people is social media is the only way that you can do something one time and do it at scale. If you were to go, if you were to go do it's like, if whenever you post a market update, let's say you have 1,000 followers and it reaches 200 of them. It's very hard in other ways, unless you're at like a public event where you can post something or do an action one time and it's on autopilot and it's playing for you. It's pretty much like an employee for you who's showing your content for you and developing that trust for you while you're sleeping, while you're out at a restaurant. So you need to keep these things in mind when you're posting. It's not just for that one moment. Every time you're creating content, you're developing your brand and you're putting yourself in front of more and more people each and every day. So the reason for content and why it's so important is it creates a relationship with your followers. People like working with people they know. And, I've brought this up a few times, but there's 3 things to it. They have to get to know you. You have to get them to like you. And then you have to get them to trust you. Once you have those 3 things down when it comes to social media, you will start organically getting clients. And it's not something that happens overnight, but it's very important to know that. So how are you going to get people to know you? Then the second thing is, how are you going to get them to like you? And, as you post valuable content, that's how you'll develop that trust. The next thing is creating that authority online. You need to let people know that you know the best ways to buy and sell their home. You know the best ways how to, get them into a home, with saving the most amount of money, or let people know that you know the best ways to sell their home in this current market. So if you want to be that authority online, you just have to make sure you're sharing that with them. A lot of people, this is where videos can come in handy, where posting reels can become very, very handy. That's a great way to develop that authority. And all it is just sharing what you know about the market. A lot of people are very scared right now. They don't know if it's a good time to buy or sell. So you need to be that authority that gets in front of them and lets them know that it is a good time, or what their options are right now. So the keys to content. Content creation is a skill. You have to practice it over and over again to master it. Don't expect to start creating content on the fly in the beginning. There's key components to strategically posting, and it takes practice to start creating this actual lead-driven content. You must first get comfortable with posting content daily and get familiar with the platform. Once you have that down, you can start implementing the strategic posting for lead-driven content. So what I mean by this is when you're first starting to post and you want to start getting all these posts out, do not try to do it all at once on a bunch of platforms. You want to focus on one platform and get comfortable on that platform, because if you don't do that, you're really limiting yourself, because you're never going to be consistent and confident on all platforms at once. Even the best people who are, the most influential on social media, they do one platform at a time. So what I would recommend for anyone who's just starting to get posting, or, starting to build their brand, is focus on Facebook, or just focus on Instagram. Focus on getting posts on those platforms every single day. And then once you're comfortable with that, once you feel like you're resonating with your audience, then move on to the next one. Your goal is automatically to post daily with the psychology behind it without even thinking about it. So once you start posting these different topics, so like, let's say that you do, behind the scenes, let's say that you do your open houses, your door knocking, and then you share your success stories with your clients. The goal for this is, you're going to be practicing this. It might feel weird at first, but it will become a habit to you. And as you guys can see, there's a lot of real estate agents that you guys see online who are just posting every single day. Eventually you can start even posting twice a day, but it's really going to come down to, really finding those patterns first. So at the end, if anyone needs help with that, I have like a full sheet on what you guys can actually do for your social media posting for 5 days straight. because I do want you guys to start implementing this. So if you guys want that sheet, you can comment below and we'll get that over to you immediately. So the content breakdown. With branding, a lot of times you might not know where to start, but it's important to know the key components. Once you master each of these components, you will start posting lead-driven content. So the reason why I like to look at this, or I give this example, is Facebook has paid advertising. And when they're doing that, they want you to get the most out of your dollar because they want you to keep paying Facebook to do so. So what they do when they actually are, when you're creating your ad campaigns, is they break it down into they break it down into this segment right here. You have your objective, you have your where, your style, the type of ad, and the structure. And the same exact thing goes to your posting. So for your objective, think about when you run the paid ads, you first choose your objective. So what do you want to get out of this post? How do you want to make your audience feel when they read this post? Once you have that objective down, you'll be able to put the other elements in place to fully structure that. The next thing is you need to be aware of where you're posting it. So, whether this is a story, whether this is a regular post, you need to be aware of each platform, and because they're all designed differently. And if you want to do something more, organic, something more natural, I definitely recommend Facebook for that. So if you're posting just, day-to-day stuff, do that. If you want more of images or something that's more professional, you can maybe move on to Instagram. But honestly, Instagram's more of reels now. So if you really want to start focusing on Instagram, I would, start mastering the reels when it comes to once you find your objective. The next thing is style. Figure out the types of posts that you do want to put out there. You can share a story, or you can do it through an image. You can do it through a video, and there's different video links too. So you guys have to keep that in mind. Like if you're posting it on a story, keep it around, 1 to 2 story posts. So it'll be around like 15 to 30 seconds. If you're posting it on a reel on Facebook, make sure it's under 1 minute. And then if you want to just start off, like honestly, what I would do is start off with images if you're not even posting consistently, but having your face in the content. So, start putting your face in front of your followers, start doing that first, and then ease into the videos after that. So the types, those are the ones that we were talking about. So when it comes to the post after you have the objective, start breaking it down. Do you want to share a story of, what that objective is that you're thinking about? Do you just want to add value to it? Or do you have any small victories that you can fill in to fit that objective of that post that you want to do? Once you have that in place, you then can start implementing it, and you just become a storyteller. Tell the story of, whatever you experienced with your client, or explain why, this thing that you have of value is so important for the buyer or the seller to read, or explain, how you help someone. Whenever you talk about small victories, people will like it. They'll follow it. They like seeing other people win. They feel like they're a part of something, and it's a great way to do that too. When it comes to structure, just keep this in mind. If you guys this is for videos, this is for images, this is for anything that you're posting on some social media. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end for every single post that you do. So you need to identify, like, how are you going to grab their attention? So what's the hook? And the middle is you're going to have the problem. So maybe you grab their attention and then you talk about the most common problems with this. Then you're going to end it with a solution. And that's how you're going to bring the value to them. So always keep that in mind when you're posting. So like, even if it's a success story of like a small victory, talk about get them hooked into it first, then start talking about the problem with it, and then talk about how you solve that. When it comes to, someone who had let's say you had a successful, a successful close on a buyer, talk about how you helped them overcome any of the problems that they had and how they got into their home happily. This is going to get so many people to want to work with you over time because you're becoming that problem solver. You're not just a real estate agent anymore. So does anyone have any questions about the content breakdown? All right. So the posting principles. So every post is a reflection of your brand. Make sure that every post reflects what you want your brand to be. Every attribute in your post will reflect the people you attract and the things people will associate you with. So always be paying attention to that when you are posting stuff. You know, there's certain things that, you know, you really want to enhance when it comes to your brand. So maybe it's, if you pick your 3 pillars, let's say you like to golf, let's say you like spending time with your family, and you like helping first-time home buyers. Keep your brand around that. Do not make it complicated. You can find tons of posts. I bet if you found, like, if your hobby is golfing, you probably have a ton of posts in your phone where you can pull up, you know, past experiences you've had at golf courses, or, you know, you have a ton of family events that you can start posting about. And they don't even have to be like live actual photos. They can be throwbacks. You can just talk about the memories and stuff like that. And then you also can start talking about the first time home buyers. But when you have that in place, you really will have that foundation to start posting more consistently. The next thing is perspective posting. The best content creators don't reinvent the wheel. And that's something that I think everyone needs to start thinking about, and because it's a lot easier when you don't try to reinvent the wheel. You know, the only thing that all these people are doing, if you notice, is they're sharing their perspective. So start shifting it into that style of content. So like when you're talking about, you know, like if you see a market update, you know, do a perspective posting on it. What is your professional opinion on what's going on in the market right now? Or let's say that you see a new development coming out. What's your professional opinion on that? You know, start sharing your perspective on that. You don't have to actually create the content that's talking about the new developments. You can just share what your thoughts are on that, and that can help you get in front of more people too. So an example is, you don't need to predict where the market is going, but maybe share your thoughts on the current market. So I think that's the biggest thing that people worry about, is doing the market, you know, market updates. You can get so worried because you don't want to tell them advice that might not actually be correct in the next year or so. So instead of doing that, just share your thoughts on it. What are you seeing right now while you're out there actively? You know, is there more homes on the market right now? What are you seeing for buyers? What are some benefits right now, or what are some advantages that they can, you know, what are things they can take advantage of right now that you're seeing as you're working with them right now? The next thing is building human connections. Don't look at it as if you have to close a deal on every single post. Think of it as building rapport. You need to build the connection with your followers first before they will want to help them with buying or selling. So it's just like, you know, when you guys are calling people, when you guys are door knocking, this is all a process to build rapport with your followers. This isn't going to happen overnight. Even if you're doing videos, even if you're doing images, even if you're doing stories every single day, it's not going to happen overnight. But it's going to build that rapport with people. And if you do this consistently for a year and you have 200 people who are actively following you, you just built rapport with 200 people that are actively seeing you. They're going to be seeing your content every single day. So when they are ready to take action, or if they know someone who wants to take action, that's where you're going to actually come in to help. And that's where all of these postings will come in handy and will benefit your business. Then another thing too is make your post for your followers, not yourself. Remember to speak to your followers on the post. Do not try to speak, you know, don't post something that you like. Post something that you know that your buyers or your sellers or your typical audience would like. Think about what your audience desires and make the post about that. So if their biggest desire is getting into a home right now with, you know, how they can get into it with the high interest rates, start thinking about their desires for that. Don't talk about how you're helping, you know, I helped 3 buyers this week, you know, we're showing home. Think about their desires. What are these people desiring to get into? Where do they want to be, and what is the process for them to get there? Another thing is avoid making the post about you. It is just like a conversation. If you talk about yourself, you lose them. But as you start talking about how you can help them, they're eager to speak with you. So keep that in mind. You know, do not talk about yourself on posting. Be very about them. You know, show that you're sharing value with them and that you're just trying to help them, and they'll be eager to hear your content. every single week that you're posting. So just so you guys can get kind of like a better visual of it, when it comes to value, value is how you help people with their current struggles and get them where they desire to be. With value-driven content, this should always be at the top of the mind. So what are your buyers and sellers struggling with right now? And how can you get them to that desired outcome? So what I'd recommend, what I challenge you guys all to do is maybe write 10 to 20 struggles that you know buyers or sellers right now are going through, and start thinking of how you can help them get past that. Once you have that, you already have lead-driven content. You're already going to have exactly what needs to be posted because you guys do have the solutions to this. This is your profession. You guys are the experts, and they're the ones with the struggles. So, you know, be the authority and make sure to post this kind of content. And it's really easy. Once you have that stuff down, you'll have all of their struggles. You'll have all of how you can help them get to the desired outcome. And then you can start implementing stuff like, oh, I have a great video that can actually help them with this. Or I actually took a picture of it I have a great image that I know will be perfect for this situation. So does anyone have any questions about that? Awesome. Another thing too, for the posting guys is you have to realize that it's all based off of emotion when people are reading or watching your videos. Humans are emotional decision makers. If you don't make people feel like they can express themselves, if you don't make them feel important, if you don't make them feel like they have a connection or they gain experience or have growth or increase their status or contribute, they will not care for your post. And, you know, it's all about emotions when it comes down to this. When they're done watching this, do they feel like they have more knowledge than they did before? What are they getting out of that? Does it make them feel important? Maybe you're talking about, you know, someone's situation that you helped overcome and they can relate to it. They feel heard, they feel important. So those are the kind of things you have to put in place when it comes to your content. Emotion gets your audience to start thinking about your content. So that's the last thing that I want to kind of cover with that is when you have people in their emotions, your content's going to resonate with them more and they're going to remember it. All right, guys, so that's kind of like the principles of everything when it comes to posting on social media. I really just wanted you guys to see the understanding of how important it is to post and what kind of post needs to be going out. On top of this, I usually go through the Build Your Brand guide, but instead I'm going to just comment it below because if you guys don't know where to even start when it comes to this content, fill out the guide first and then revisit this workshop. And you guys will have planned content for the next 30 days. I can promise that. So what I would do is if you do have your pillars in place, you know, go ahead and start implementing this stuff. Start asking yourself these questions that were on this workshop and start posting. And schedule 5 pieces. That's what I ask for you guys. If anyone's down to commit to that, comment below so that way I can check out your content. We can even game plan together after. But I really want you guys to start posting more because right now is such an important time. I know people are so scared right now when it comes to buying or selling. They have so much doubt. And this is the biggest opportunity for you guys to jump in and reassure them or at least take that authority status rather than another agent taking it for them. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much everything today when it comes to posting. Does anyone have any questions? Anything? All right. Well, okay, guys. So that was pretty much everything. Does anyone, Michael, Adam, do you guys have any specific questions? Oh, all right. Okay. You're muted, Michael.
Oh, here you go. No, you were pretty thorough, pretty comprehensive.
Awesome. Yeah, guys. And if you have any questions when it comes to posting, feel free to ask. We have so much content here. We have different strategies. We have different calendars that you guys can start implementing. This is a free method that if you guys take very serious and understand the principles of it, you really can start moving your audience with it. So that's what I hope you guys can make, I hope you guys got enough value out of this workshop so that way you guys can start seeing, the posting, how important and how much it can impact your followers and, how much it can impact your business if you do this kind of stuff every single day. But yeah, that's pretty much everything.
All right, thanks, Tristan. Well, I hope you all enjoyed today's workshop. There is a bit of a challenge at the end, so I hope you guys took notes. If you need a copy of that brand guide, please email Tristan at besthomesrealestate.com for a free copy, or Magnus can print you one. You can get one at branch office. There's a million ways to get it. So let us know. And I hope you enjoyed today's content. It's a very important one. So this is normally one of the first things you want to get out of the way and get going and just implement whatever you listed on your kind of that list Tristan said to make. But you guys enjoy your Wednesday, and tomorrow we do have a mastermind at 10 a.m. So we'll see you all soon. Thank you so much.